Rape culture. It's still a hot topic for some odd reason. So let's see this lovely video that your everyday basic feminist Kat Black has done for us to explain rape culture perfectly. I gotta admit, that intro is pretty cool despite how fucking retarded you are sometimes.
So I was walking home the other day and this guy followed me as I was walking to my apartment. He asked me where I was going and I said, home, smiling politely and quickly turning around. Then he asked me if he could come with me and I said, no, I'm okay, this time making sure that I had no eye contact with him. Then he asked me, can I get your number? And I said, sorry, no thank you. Then he asked me, do you live alone? And I said, no, I live with my boyfriend, hoping that he would get the clue. Then he said, so can I get your number?
Fucking what? Is there like some sort of climax to this story? Did either one of you climax? Because this isn't an instance of you getting raped. It was just some creepy dude who was being super pushy.
Rape culture is a culture in which sexual violence is considered the norm. It's a culture where girls going away to college are told that they should invest in pepper spray keychains, but doesn't teach boys about consent.
We tell people to invest in pepper spray keychains because we are teaching them to try and protect themselves. And I'm pretty damn sure we tell boys what consent is. Saying that we should stop teaching women how to protect themselves and instead teach boys not to rape is basically like saying, don't teach people not to lock their cars, teach thieves not to steal.
It's a culture that tells women that the length of their skirt determines how truthful their claims of sexual violence are. It's a culture that encourages women to keep their sexual assaults to themselves for fear of losing family members or ruining a reputation. It's a culture that tells boys that when they're raped by a female teacher, that they should be thankful that they were able to land a hot chick at such a young age.
I actually agree with you on this. It is really fucked up that a boy can get raped by a woman and then everyone's response is, awesome dude, you got laid, I would love to have fucked that hottie. But at the same time, people don't really go to the teacher and be like, she is so great for taking advantage of that kid, she is a model citizen.
It's a culture that tells boys that they can't come forward about their rapes when their rapists are men, because surviving sexual violence makes you gay, and not being able to defend yourself makes you a wimp.
Never seen this happen, like, ever. Most of the time, if the rapist is a man, then whoever is raped gets all the love and comfort they need. The problem that I have is when the rapist is a woman. Basically, if the man was raped, then everyone laughs in his fucking face. Like, it's taken as a joke.
It's a culture that jokes freely about men getting what they deserve in prison from other inmates.
I personally don't give a shit about prison rape jokes, because it's just that, a joke. But credit where credit is due. Most of these rape culture feminists don't even bother to mention anything about male victims of rape.
It's a culture that teaches men that they're incapable of being survivors of sexual violence because of physiological responses.
Thank you! Finally, thank you. A feminist that actually mentions female on male rape.
It's a culture that teaches men that street harassment is a favorable way of approaching a woman.
I'm guessing you're talking about catcalling? How the fuck is catcalling harassment? Yeah, if a guy were like, hey sugar tits, hey candy ass, I can see how that might be considered harassment. But other than that, complimenting someone in the street shouldn't be considered harassment.
It's a culture where I have to say no over and over and over again because men are taught that no secretly means yes.
I'm pretty sure that most people who understand the English language realize that no means no and yes means yes. If someone doesn't understand this, then you might want to send them back to English class.
It's a culture where men are more willing to respect my rejection if they believe that I belong to another man.
Wanna know why? Because people are looking for a date or a partner or something, they know that they're probably not going to get any of that sweet pussy if you already have a boyfriend.
Rape culture is not the idea that we live in a society that supports the idea of rape, but rather that we live in a society that trivializes, downplays, and sometimes struggles to decipher sexual violence.
Actually, most people can decipher sexual violence. It's called, if you fuck someone against their will, then you raped them.
Rape culture tells survivors of sexual violence that they are required to report their rapes, but only convicts 2% of reported rapists.
Citation fucking needed. And you know how hard it is to get evidence that someone is a rapist? Most of the time, all it is one person's word against another.
Rape culture unfortunately encourages silence. It creates a situation where people are made to feel responsible for the sexual violence that happens to them, but very rarely prosecutes people who commit it.
Because they need to prove if they actually committed it or not. This video I personally have mixed opinions on. She completely threw out the door due process of law, but unlike most feminists, she actually bothered to bring up male victims of sexual violence. Well, I guess I'm gonna end the video here.